All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Insatiable, Season 1, Episode 3. So, speaking of road trips,
the show continues. Yeah.
We also meet, and I didn't look it up. I meant to look it up. We meet the woman who brought.
Yeah, she's famous. Obviously, she's somebody.
She's from the Vacation movies, isn't she?
Oh, it's the mom from Vacation.
I think so. Her
That's
voice
amazing.
has gotten so smokery.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if she's acting that voice or if that's her new voice.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a couple of actresses who have gotten that kind of voice all the time.
Happened to Kathleen Turner.
Yeah.
Most definitely. A few things happened to her though. But no, that was great. She's, I think more than a cameo. If I'm reading the
I think she will be the new
telegraphing,
enemy. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, she's like the evil, the evil emperor.
But I like this because again, you're pulling more actors that I know into
Hold
a
on.
thing.
Sorry though, I want to do a thing where it's like, her pageant lady is like Darth Vader and she's the Emperor, and then Bob is Obi-Wan and Patty's Luke. It's a little poster, like it's the thing.
The droids can be the two.
Can be Nani and the Asian guy.
The Asian girl and the
Okay.
Asian guy are the droids.
Sure.
And then like Han Solo.
Han Solo's not.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have art abilities? Can you make this?
I could probably make that for you.
You're like, no one wants this.
I won't do that.
Yeah.
But
You're like, almost definitely. I will not. So you're saying road trip, right? The whole episode takes the form of a road trip.
Yes.
We're all converging on this, pageant, whatever. Oh, the bareback rodeo, whatever it's called.
Yes, I wasn't clear with what that even was.
No, I'm not sure.
Because she points to those two guys, and she's like, these are my blah blahs. I'm like, are they in the competition? Are they the competition? What is this game?
It seemed like all the
you have a bunch of girls.
So I don't know if...
Is it not a pageant?
So they were there to watch a pageant, but maybe it's like a whole festival that takes place and there's other things happening. I don't know. A lot of opportunity for funny little things happening. But overall, the idea is everyone's got their angle, right? Mm-hmm. Bob wants to go to his mentor and figure out how he can rein in this wild stallion that he's... This rough filly that he's trying to coach. She just wants to get into Bob's pants, and this is the perfect opportunity.
That was so early on. I was trying to figure out because they were selling it as like they split ways for something, and I'm like I think it was a romantic entanglement that went awry.
Oh,
and then they slowly. Oh no, I know what you meant, but
okay.
I was trying to picture what their relationship was because it wasn't perfect. So and then they kind of painted out exactly. It was that he found a girl he loved. And he left.
Things got serious. He found the younger girl who's now his wife and no longer a pageanter person or whatever. But like road trip wise, right? Nani wants to go help. She doesn't have a car, wants to use someone else's car. She goes to the Asian clerk guy. The also somehow Asian Southern person who's the false molester accuser person is like, no, we'll take my car. You come with me. And they all go.
Did you love
racing
she has a Hummer.
Yes.
But B, she's like singing along to a rap song, singing all the words, but then saying N-word.
Yes, it's great.
I was like, this is ridiculous. What is she even doing? Why would she do this? But it was funny, I guess.
It's absurd and wonderful is why. It's perfect.
Very weird.
And they're on I forget what it was called, but in my notes I call it Snatch Chat.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Instead of Snapchat, and so she takes a picture of her vagina in the middle of the road trip, and then his phone lights up, and he's like, "It's you," and all that stuff, which she saw coming, but it was so great, it was wonderful.
I love when he goes, and she says like, "Nice dong." He's like, "It wasn't mine."
It's not my dong.
Because the internet's forever.
Oh no! And she goes, "Oh no!" or whatever. He's like, "You're way too hot to be on Snatch Chat." And she goes, "Really?" And have this whole thing. I'm like, "Oh no, they're gonna totally be a thing." But again, the show takes something not all the way to like 11 or 100, but like farther than I would have expected, right? Because they're not just you expect them to be making out, and they kind of do that. They
do.
They literally do that. You would expect a scene where like Nani's explaining something really in depth, and then it cuts to them, and they're just making out, right?
Yeah.
But it just kind of shows them making out. But then it cranks it up a bit, where they're doing like weird gunplay, sexual gunplay, and I'm like, oh no!
And the gun's like in Nani's face.
Yeah, she's like, God, stop
She's like, is that loaded? What are you doing?
What are you doing? Right?
It's a pink fucking Glock. What are you?
It's a crazy pink gun. And that's the kind of stuff that I've
I have a carry permit.
Yeah, don't worry, I have a permit.
And they're in Texas, so she probably does.
And we'll just take that little thread through, right? So weirdly enough, Nani shows up and barely does anything. But and I forget the Asian chick's name. I'm not just calling her the Asian chick. She's Asian. Pulls the gun and says like "citizens arrest" or whatever, and gets like instantly tackled by a bouncer. Someone shouts "gun" or whatever at the bar, which happens, I guess, and she just gets full body duffed out, and then never mentioned again in the episode. It's amazing. Yeah. After this long road trip of tracking the progress and phone calls and texts and oh no and going, it's just nothing happens. It's perfect.
Well, from the moment she's tackled to the end of the episode, how much time is there even for things
not a
to
lot,
happen?
but like the point of them. So like next episode might pick up with them still there, but it feels like we're done with that location, right? So
well, she might even be in all events, she would be in jail.
Yeah.
She was caught
in all reality
in a different state with a stolen gun out in public, brandishing it in a bar.
Sure, but like
that's jail time.
My point is that if you have
she has a lawyer potentially.
That would be even funnier. My only point is that you have characters rushing to a location, and then when they get there, there's really no payoff for the fact that they're there, except for that scene or whatever. It's fine. It's like kind of funny, but I really think next episode we're not going to be in that place anymore, and it's all just going to be like undone or whatever.
Maybe
it'll probably motivate the characters to do something. They'll probably have like a conversation about it. But I almost expected a conversation there. Because Bob goes out and talks to Stella Rose. Like, what are you trying to do? And all that stuff. So I thought we were going to cut back to Nani talking to everyone and them all having like a similar conversation. But we didn't really do that.
No. It could open with that, though.
It could. I don't know. But it feels weird to have the whole episode having them driving towards this place and then just... Are
they in Texas? Did I make that up?
I was going to ask you off camera later.
Because it just clicked where I'm like, they went to Georgia. That would be a really long fucking drive, Texas to Georgia.
They probably said in like the first episode where it's set, but from the accent...
is it Florida? It's Florida, isn't it? Florida?
Oh, is it Florida? That's hilarious.
Pretty sure it's Florida.
Yeah, because the accent has a very like, hello, I'm going lots of diphthongs and like, hey, what? And like a lot of those noises that, Texas is not really...
Yeah, I think it's Florida.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot more sense to go to Georgia.
Okay. I did not even catch that, that they were going to Georgia here.
Yeah.
But, so meanwhile, just to reset everything, Caroline, whatever, what's the wife's name?
I don't know.
You're always there for me. It's wonderful. She's at home.
Milano.
Alyssa Milano's home. Her sister shows up. Her trailer trash sister shows up.
Her sister looks very familiar.
She does. I do not know who that is.
Is she the girl from Empire Records?
Shit.
That like
shaves her head?
Kill herself? Yeah.
Oh man, could it be her? She reminds me of her. I don't think that's her. It might be her though.
I didn't look into it, and I never do.
That would be dope ass.
But it looked like her and like Katy Perry had a baby. Like
yes, had a Katy Perry thing going on. So to cut through all of this, right? They admire Bare Bones Barnyard Boner Bob,
yes,
or whatever.
He's finally out of the fucking eye of the beholder now.
Because of how he treats this whole situation.
Yeah.
So
this is finally good. I'm like, God, stop idolizing this
Stop
idiot.
liking this guy. He's not even that hot. I hate when hot characters.
He's very hot.
All right. Let's be honest here. He's dreamy. No, I'm not always the best judge, but sometimes characters, male or female on shows, are like the hot one, and I'm like, this person is the most average-looking person in the world.
I think, though, when you put him into perspective against any other men we've
seen,
he's the most attractive one.
No, I know that. He's better than
what
Bob.
annoys me, though, is when it's exactly what you're saying, but there are, it's like, oh, the nerdy girl's hotter than that girl. What are you doing
Every
here?
character's hot.
But at least in this one, I'm like, yeah, you've only shown, like, the sheriff was like a dud.
Yeah, everyone's a mess.
Bob's a dud. Like, I'm like, okay, he's the best of them, and he's constantly, shirt off.
I guess I'm using TV show math on a show whose characters are not all amazing, right? So, so it's all like a scam. She's just trying to get money or like whatever time. She's cut the radiator thing herself and all that stuff.
Yes.
Funny line in the middle. Well, Bob's never been under a car, and like the last time Bob was under a car is when he was hiding from a grizzly or whatever. I'm like, that's pretty funny. That's kind of funny. It's like, okay, cool. But so they have like a bonding moment. They're like full on cat fighting, And then Bob is like, "Oh man, you're doing such a great job of like playing the socialite, even though he doesn't say even though you are trash." But then she says, "Are you implying I'm trash?" And he's like, "I did not say it," or something. "You did," or whatever he says, right?
Yeah,
something like that. And then she goes, "And my Bob would never say that."
Yeah,
and wham, warm little thing there.
Yeah,
because Bob sucks.
Well, clearly, like, and her white trashness did.
Are they both named Bob?
I don't know.
Move on with your life.
But like clearly, like in this, when she's fighting on the front yard, and I'm like, okay, she's got a little white trash in her. Yeah. But like, she is such the socialite by comparison to the other sister, who is like openly embraced the like, nah, I'm trash. What up?
Exactly. No, like a ton of kids and a weird. She's like sunning herself and doing the whole.
Where do you even get that thing?
I don't know. They only sell those to certain types of people. So, yeah. No offense if you're into those weird reflective things. I need my chin to be tan. No, I know.
Is that? Yeah.
I don't know. It's a movie thing. It has to be in the movie, or whatever TV show thing. No, I found it to be like a good thing. Like we're developing and showing more of each of the characters and their history and where they come from or whatever. Yeah. And I like that that the guy that can't resist taking his shirt off all the time and has that upper status thing. Kind of like, oh wow, so it turns out you know because like. Once trailer trash, always trailer trash type of thing. So he's like, you're doing a great job of faking it. I admire that, even though you are a piece of trash or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
It's a good way to take him down a peg without having to introduce some weird, like a drug addiction or something like that.
No, well, you kind of always got the feeling like, he's an ass.
He is an ass. It's so obvious that he's an ass.
Yeah, and this definitely comes to where you're like, okay, though. The illusion has finally been broken for the only people that still thought this guy was good.
For her, most importantly, because you would have really hated
Bob knew all along.
Bob's been like, oh, look at him, whatever, the whole time. But I am like glad that like the wife now understands that we should not be going after him.
And she seems to realize also she has it pretty good. Like,
and she's and she was already loyal. She was already like, you are guilty of child pornography now and all that stuff. So she was already had Bob's back. But I think now so like renew everything. Mm-hmm. So everything else is basically the events that take place at the remote, distant pageant or whatever like that, right? I guess to skip through to like the real stuff, I love that he Miyagi'd her.
Yes.
I hated that he called out that he Miyagi'd her, but they saved it by her being like, I don't know what that is, like, you fucking old man. And it was so good. I was like, because while she's doing it, I'm like, oh, it's like a Mr. Miyagi thing. That's cool. And then when he like calls it out, I'm like, oh, you just ruined it. Sorry. And I'm like writing down, nope, you ruined it or whatever. And then her reaction to it
they
saved
drew like
it.
a little line and thing.
I drew a line through it. Never mind, it's great. Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah,
because that's like. And it was super weak and loose. The thing on the horse for like 2 seconds, and the things and all
most
that
of
stuff.
it was loose because she cheated her way through. I know, so she shouldn't have even really learned anything.
Shouldn't have even had the caboodle strength or whatever. Yes. Yeah. But conceptually, I still like what they were going for there, and I like them being self-aware enough to call it out, and then subvert the thing of her being like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I took that third part not as a you saved it, as a tired of these fucking things like oh you're so old, and like that Spider-Man like saw this old movie Star Wars like I hate things like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would much rather just like you Miyagi'd him. Like, okay, cool.
I don't know.
Than the call it out thing.
I could see her not knowing who Mr. Miyagi was.
It's not that I couldn't see it. I hate the writer for it.
Oh, okay. The whole like, hey, I saw this really old movie last night, Star Wars. Like, that's atrocious to me, because that's like not even understanding the context of one of the most popular films in like film history. No,
but and that one that is the joke, and I understand the joke. I just think it is so aggressively bad that I don't like the joke.
Right.
And this didn't come across as bad as that, but I was still like, come on, you don't know Karate Kid? You're like, you are a film buff. It's been established.
No, she likes Drew Barrymore movies.
Yeah, she likes Drew Barrymore.
She didn't watch Karate Kid.
In order to even know all the movies Drew Barrymore's in, you have to watch a whole bunch of movies.
Well, no, I think they seeked out that particular like thing.
She had to find out she likes it somehow.
That's true. She had to watch all the Karate Kid and Rambo movies before you get to
it just makes sense.
Riding in cars with boys. That's how I did it.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine it happening any other way. So like a lot of that stuff we're gonna skip over, right?
There's a lot of back and forth, and
betrayal and learning this and then that, and I thought you meant this, but really that, and talking behind the back, whatever. It all culminates in like her trying to seduce. So Stella Rose tries to to seduce him, and he's like, "Gross, stop it!" And I'm like, "Oh, good." So no one walked in and like, "Oh, it's not what it looks like."
Yeah,
right?
That would have been awkward.
And then immediately, like, he's like walking funny. He's like storming off, like, I can't believe this just happened. He walks directly into into Patty, who's trying to seduce him, and he completely like blows that up and goes.
He gives her like a double dose of the like enough already because he just did one, and that laid it on a little too strong. He's putting on his like night creams, realizes she's leaving.
I actually thought he was going to try to explain it. Well, Stella Rose just tried to put the moves on me, so I was already in like rejection mode. I didn't realize, or whatever, or something like that. And then it'd be like, you were with Stella Rose, you're disgusting, or some weird thing happening. But they didn't do that either. It was great. They just go off to this bar and they all hang out. And she finds out, she sees the cell phone. They're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
This is all a thing. Who's in on it? Bink! Little winky thing. You're like, oh, no, or whatever.
When he starts eating those fucking shellfish without taking them out of the thing, I was like,
when he just shovels them in his mouth.
That's dedication.
Listen, so that whole conversation really, because the episode, again, like all those things that I skipped over, kind of weaker elements to me. The stuff that I highlighted were like the brighter points. This ending, though, I thought was really strong. His whole speech, volume eating is a slippery slope for both of us. And she's like, I need you to prove to me that you want to win this or whatever. And I'm just saying, he's like, okay, well, get me a bib or whatever he said, whatever thing. I said it all out of order.
They bring him a tray out like minutes into the competition, and he still fucking smokes.
I know, but he has to, like you're saying, he has to like be chewing shells, and there's like legs falling out of his mouth. It's this like disgusting thing.
I wanted him to be like spitting blood at the end.
Yeah, really did a number on my soft palate. Yeah, no, it was really good. Like the whole speech back and forth, the whole like interaction between them. His thing of like, you know where this leads. First this happens, then that happens. Soon you're eating a whole stick of butter in the dark, and then he starts talking, but she goes, wait, what, you really did that? Like there's this little line woven in there, and you'd be like, ew, what? No, oh no.
And that's been a thing. I've heard of that from more than one people.
A stick of butter?
Eating butter, yeah.
Oh man, I am extremely...
At the fair, they do deep fried butter sticks.
Well,
and I'm like, who's into that?
That's an event, though. That's a different story. If you just go actually...
Is it a different story, though?
Yes.
So you're at the fair, you're like, you know what, let me get a deep fried butter.
I would want to try it. I've never had one before.
There's nothing about it that's appealing to me.
Listen, okay, it's not about the... All right. Have you ever had like a deep fried Oreo?
Yeah.
I haven't either. And
I said yes.
What?
I said yes.
I haven't had butter and I haven't had Oreos. I haven't had any of these
But
deep
here's
fried
the difference.
Things. And I would love to try them.
Deep fried
to see what
is something
like.
You would want to eat normally.
Yes, but obviously something happens to to the butter. It's probably like a hollow shell of deliciousness.
These are the same sick fucks that are eating sticks of butter are like, can you deep fry butter?
Listen, as far as I know with the Oreos, when you deep fry it, it like turns into like a weird thing where the Oreo goes into like the fryness of it or something like that, right?
No.
I don't know what you've had, but I've heard them described to me, and I could see
it's like a melted inside of a crispy outside.
I could see butter doing the same thing.
But that's it melting the Oreo. This would be it melting the butter.
Butter would turn into like liquid though, so like the inside has to just become part of the outside and become this thing that might be delicious. Now, a raw stick of butter, especially for some reason, his phrasing in the dark is so much more horrible.
You don't see yourself eating it.
So much more horrible. I would never even consider that. I like a lot of butter on things if and when I put butter on things, but I would never just take a bite of butter. Even just thinking about that is so disgusting.
Yet a fried one, you're like all in.
I want to know what it is. I wouldn't even have to eat it. Just cut one up in front of me. I'm just curious. It has nothing to do with it being butter.
All right. I think that's all I can talk about.
It ends up the final button. We find out, right, she wants to take, Stella Rose. So I wasn't trying to steal Patty, you idiot. I hate you. But, this is about revenge, but not the kind of revenge that you think it is. I'm going to take my girl all the way to the Miss American Lady Beauty pageant or whatever, and now I know all your weaknesses. And then she walks directly over to like Patty and says, I had an affair with Bob. He gave me this. Now I'm giving it to you. You know what to do. And like walks off and all that stuff. And you think, okay, well, we just had all this redemption with them and now it all makes sense. So she's going to interpret this in like a good way. And then her voiceover is like, I can use this as leverage. Break up Bob's marriage, and then I'll have him all to myself. And you're like, what? No!
Yeah,
and then
everyone's
ends.
A fucking psycho bitch.
It's wonderful. Yes. So you're like, fuck.
Bunch of butter-eating bitches.
You think that this was the whole slow climb. We had to expose her. Like Mean Girls. We had to expose her to these plastics and show her. No, we're the fat kids. We're trying to win this beauty pageant from a whole different angle. We're not like them. We're not like Stella Rose. And I'm going to teach you. And now you trust me. And I've proven myself. And everything is great. And everything's going. And then her thing everything is just like back to plan A. I can make this work. Yep, good idea. And this just right back into her old pattern.
No, she's psycho.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, I like that though. Do you not like that?
No, I like it, but I do hate that like every character is a fucking crazy person. Like for me as a person who lives in the world that I'm sure is surrounded by crazy people at all times.
Yep.
It doesn't help.
Doesn't help. So you see this and you go, I guess the world is like this. I hate this.
I'm sure.
No, wonderful.
Yeah. All right, guys, so that's this episode. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.